Sophie Cunningham owned Jacy Sheldon from the same game that Marina Mabrey did the massive body slam into Caitlin Clark on. She still owns Jacy. She still owns Jacy Sheldon. And what's great is she's got a great sense of humor about it, and she's not shy about it. I mean, what are they going to do?
Jacy Sheldon was the target of Sophie Cunningham's quip, which she used to transform the WNBA into her own personal say it with your chest exhibition. It was the same G who became overly involved with Caitlin Clark. This wasn't a discreet, behind-the-scenes communication. Sophie switched to broadcast mode. She gave it to him on the ground. After giving it to the fans, she carved it in ink. Thus, the actual query is straightforward. To what extent do you adore Sophie? Tell us in the comments section below. This is just the kind of energy that the league's top talent deserves by her side, according to Fever Nation.
This is kind of crazy. This one is kind of crazy. When you get Sophie Cunningham to sign a Jacy Sheldon rookie card with property of, that is crazy. That is crazy. Property of Sophie Cunningham.
This is the fact that most teams choose to ignore. When a rating star and walking sellout Caitlin Clark is here, you can either defend her or stand around looking nice, while opponents treat her like an open invitation. Teammate cheat code is a target for any cheap shot artist with a grudge. After selecting door number 1, Sophie Cunningham slammed it into people's fingers. All of this stems from that circus-style game. The same one where Marina Mabrey truck-sticked Clark after the whistle and tried out for special teams. However, Jacy Sheldon warmed up with a let me test the boundaries shot prior to Mabrey's NFL audition, which had Fever supporters prepared to present her with a league-wide penalty box. What if the W had won?
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
Sheldon has already established a reputation for unintentional interactions that consistently appear to fall on Clark, adding an extra needless bump. Furthermore, Sophie failed to include it in a complaint folder. She put it on her list of things to accomplish. Cunningham gave a clear, forceful warning later in the game, the kind you receive in your shoulder blades, that going after Caitlin is accompanied by interest. It was clean. It was not careless. We saw it. Don't attempt it again was the basketball equivalent. Sophie then did something that most players wouldn't do. When the lights weren't game clock brilliant, she maintained the enthusiasm.
Sophie commits a hard foul on Jacy Sheldon. Again, as Jacy Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm gonna give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional.
Let's fast forward to a fan event. Sophie is in full community mode, cutting, smiling for pictures, and signing programs. It's up with those who arrive 2 hours early and depart early. A Jacy Sheldon rookie card is passed over by a fan who requests a signature. Not a heart, not a number, not just Sophie. They want a declaration, a stamp, or something that expresses the thoughts of the entire building.
See, she's the problem. She is the problem.
Taking the pen, Sophie writes on the front of the card, Sophie Cunningham's property. That isn't a scrawl. A proclamation, that is. You wish to press her star, then? Cool. This is the bill. Additionally, it is a memo to the league's other teams. Her documentation is in order, and there is an enforcer in Indiana. Consider yourself formally placed on notice, Sheldon.
Sophie Cunningham would take her rightful place as the Indiana Fever enforcer, and I believe took the first step to her becoming the second most popular player in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham is everywhere. Arby's, walking in. She's best looking woman walking into these WNBA arenas. I mean, Black Belt Barbie, anybody? Black Belt Barbie.
The video is a social media hit. As the fans go crazy, Lexi Hull, who is seated at the table next to Sophie, bursts into laughing. It's one of those infrequently occurring ideal moments that combines humor, rivalry, and unadulterated competition. The elements that genuinely contribute to the identity of a fan base and a team's culture. It wasn't staged. There was no brand on it.
It was Sophie at her best.
Witty, astute, and incredibly aware of her target audience. The nicest part is that she didn't change her mind.
No.
Oh my goodness, I was joking. No apologies, notes app. Sophie leaned closer. You want your enforcer to do that. Regularity. Because, let's face it, every successful team requires one. Gretzky possessed one. Jordan possessed a number. Kobe had the technicals were worn for him by someone. Curry possesses Draymond. Sophie Cunningham, the WNBA's most watched player at the moment, is a shooter by profession, a protector by preference, and reportedly a part-time notary for opposing guards.
Sophie Cunningham has been Caitlin Clark's biggest cheerleader and defender.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? When people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
The sad truth about this video we just watched is she is the first WNBA player I have seen to openly say this out loud, publicly, and not be ashamed in declaring it.
Here's the twist, though, that elevates this beyond a simple act of toughness. Sophie isn't just a bench body there to rack up fouls. She is creating a lot. She has been torching nets, making three-pointers like she owns the arc, and piling 15, 18, and 20-point nights while everyone else is still in shock since the break. When Phoenix needed buckets to defeat the Fever, Sophie. While some teammates couldn't remember where city they were in, I provided 18 on command. I like enforcer energy. People recall that you win sports when you combine enforcer energy and efficiency.
Caitlin Clark is the reason we have been talking about the WNBA. Hate it or love it, it's true. I don't believe that Caitlin Clark necessarily wants that title that everyone has been giving to her. I think she just wants to be appreciated. And Sophie Cunningham, she just seems like such a real one, such a good friend. I think especially with women, especially elite level athletes, there's a lot of people, women, who will kind of stab you in the back. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of resentment, especially when you're good. But Sophie just seems like such a girl's girl. I really, really like her. Maybe Caitlin Clark should do the next American Eagle campaign, or Sophie Cunningham.
Therefore, it didn't feel petty when Sophie wrote property of Sophie Cunningham. It seemed appropriate, because it was more than just that one bump or one shove. Fever fans erupted. It concerned the public return address of a season's worth of non-basketball contact. Our star isn't running solo anymore, a teammate said, and using ink rather than emojis to convey it.
And what do you guys think? Do you guys think this means anything? Like, obviously, when you get a Sophie Cunningham signed a Jacy Sheldon card, I think we should see that more in sports.
The dominoes were precisely aligned. The autograph turned into a meme. It was accepted as canon by Fever fans. Fans of Clark, at this stage, the soldiers stored it in their camera rolls. Even those who are neutral and tired of seeing Clark singled out nod and hit share. After that, the larger story made sense. Jacy Sheldon's young WNBA career, drafted by Dallas, enrouted to Connecticut, shipped to Washington, already encountered a little turbulence. Now, neither a dominant defensive performance nor a game-changing scoring night made her headlines. This was it. The guard that Sophie Cunningham claimed and the one that she shot at Caitlin.
This is hilarious. It really is. Indiana Fever star takes humorous jab at Caitlin Clark villain. You got to love an Iowa Hawkeyes Wire headline. That's really good. That's Jacy Sheldon. Congratulations. That's all you're known as. The chick that was mean to Caitlin Clark. That's your legacy. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you've been traded, and I don't think you're much of a basketball player.
When that clip appeared on timelines, you could hear the applause resounding throughout Fever Nation. It goes beyond the jest. That's what the joke stands for. Identity of the team. Accountability of teammates. You can't make your name by taking aim at ours, is written in the sand. That's excellent business and basketball. It provides a focal point for the locker room, a narrative for the supporters, and an excuse for opponents to reconsider their pursuit of Caitlyn's TikTok videos. Because of this, Sophie has unquestionably surpassed Caitlyn as the second most adored Fever player. She has swagger without being silly, edge without being egotistical, and real production to back up the commotion. She will seize the lead, hit the deep three, smile, and then use a microphone drop to sign a rival's rookie card. It's a brand. It's a role. You have a teammate there.
Sheldon, who was selected number 5 overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Dallas Wings, following 5 seasons at Ohio State, has quickly established herself a very negative opinion for both Hawkeye and Fever fans after her June 17 flagrant one on Clark and her eventually uncalled for knee to the right groin area during the July 15 clash in Boston as a member of the Connecticut Sun. By the way, can you stay with the team? You got selected by Dallas. You're already on your 3rd squad in 18 months. God.
But let's be truthful. If the league had safeguarded its star player, as all other professional leagues do, Sophie versus Jacy would have been a non-story, but it didn't. The autograph became a headline because of this. The pattern, which includes Carter's blind side, Dee's hip check, Maber's after whistle shove, and Sheldon's unintentional hands, is more powerful than any news conference. Too many times, the officials turned their heads away. The opposing guards discovered there was material to be mined by prodding the bear after the fines struck the incorrect wrists.
I just think, and you know way better than me,
Yeah.
but like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because, like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So, like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is, like, not 100% responsible, but, like, has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally, like, pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
The JCS Sheldon incident added another level of anger for Indiana Fever supporters. We are not referring to an experienced veteran here. The WNBA resume of this role player is still warm off the printer. However, she is already gaining more notoriety for her cheap fouls than for her on-court accomplishments. Sheldon, who was selected 5th overall by the Dallas Wings in the 2024 NBA draft, was traded to another team before even finishing a season. She is currently in the news for hitting Caitlin Clark with insults that have nothing to do with really playing defense. If you want to be regarded, you shouldn't exactly follow that job path that within this league. After seeing all of that, Sophie Cunningham concluded that Sheldon's tough girl persona needed a reality check.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure Jacy. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, Jacy Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and Jacy are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.
On the ground, Sophie is one of the few players that has the ability to change the mood of a game at any time, with her presence as well as her scoring. When Clark receives a harsh foul, you watch her because you know something bad is going to happen. She's not the kind to overlook anything. That's why the moment of the autograph event became viral online. It was a statement rather than merely a joke. Sophie's signing of the property. It was Sophie Cunningham's method of declaring, "This is my matchup. It's mine. Without getting in touch with me, you won't be steamrolling my teammate."
No, in the first half, the refs didn't call. Someone should have been thrown out, and the refs did not call it.
Correct. I remember that.
They didn't. And so I was like, all right.
She got full body chested.
Dude, by 3 people.
Late, yeah.
Like 2 people, they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, if that was anyone else, you would have I would have been booted out of the game. I know that for sure. I'm a little sassy, but like, so are they.
Your leash is shorter though, because they know.
Literally, I don't even have a leash. I just have a freaking collar and a hand on it. Anyway, so there was like 45 seconds left. The girl stole the ball, and I was running back, and I was like, "We're up. I don't need to foul." And I was like, "Just let her go." And I was like, "All right, like, who cares?" Last second, intrusive thoughts. I was like, "Fuck it."
To be clear, Sophie is more than just spark. Her statistics have been among the best in her career since the All-Star break. She has been making three-pointers, consistently scoring in the double digits, and stepping up when the stakes are high.
She's got all the aura right now, all of it. Got the podcast, and a damn good one. I mean, when's the next podcast drop? News is getting slow. There's got to be at least 3 or 4 good things in every Sophie Cunningham podcast.
Because of this, it has significance when Sophie assumes the role of enforcer. She is not a player on the bench who is attempting to get attention by making noise. She is an important player who sets the tone, produces on the floor, and holds her teammates accountable. She is reminiscent of the traditional sports enforcers in many respects. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham is keeping an eye on Caitlin Clark in the current WNBA. Because of the mixed reactions to Clark's league debut, that is crucial. She has increased the WNBA's visibility, ticket sales, and television viewership more than it has in years. However, such attention has also brought with it an unmatched degree of physical targeting, which is more than what most second-year athletes must endure. The message sent to the rest of the league would be risky if the Fever didn't have someone ready to push back. Clark is open season. Sophie is making sure that message doesn't catch on, and she's doing it in a way that energizes her supporters. That combination of off-court personality and on-court performance is ideal for winning over fans.
One of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitlin.
Kirtland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport?
basketball as a whole around the world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old, and the whole world is watching her.
Yeah.
And the fans have responded precisely how you'd expect. Memes referring to Sophie as Black Belt Barbie in reference to her martial arts training, screenshots of the autograph exchange, and even requests for merchandise with Sophie Cunningham's property were all over social media. In the meantime, Jacy Sheldon's reputation is taking a different turn. If you ask the typical WNBA fan about her, they'll likely mention the groin knee, the foul on Clark, and Sophie's recent public humiliation. These moments are memorable, particularly in a league where narratives are frequently just as significant as numbers.
God, I wish we had more teammates, or I wish more teammates of Caitlin Clark would get this fired up when their transcendent superstar, who's now hurt and has missed half the games this year, has been the target, that some of the other players would get a little bit aggressive on behalf of Caitlin Clark. Get in between something. You never, this is in the NBA. Every team in hockey, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, I mean, these transcendent stars, it's always the goon, the enforcer. In this case, Sophie Cunningham, I mean, normally these guys, they're not really putting up numbers. The difference here is Sophie Cunningham is a real basketball player and a hell of a good one.
However, the widely held belief at the moment is that Sophie Cunningham isn't scared to confront anyone who criticizes her colleagues. And that goes beyond only keeping Clark safe. It's establishing the tone for the entire lineup of the Fever. The unwritten rule is obvious. You safeguard the stars if you are a member of this team. You do more than simply watch them get hit. And the Fever need to adopt that mindset. When Clark's teammates make room, take hits, and make opponents reconsider pursuing her, her game flourishes. Sophie is the ideal example of it, and her unrepentant style is also gaining over admirers who aren't very fond of her. People who respect athletes who defend their own interests yet may not be avid fans of the Fever. People like that are valuable in a league that is still struggling to gain popular recognition. The rarity of this type of public jab in the WNBA only serves to heighten its significance. Players do become chippy during games, but making fun of an opponent in front of the public at a signing ceremony is something else entirely. Sophie isn't merely standing up for Clark when things become heated. She is establishing herself as a somebody you should not mess with. This explains why the nickname, Black Belt Barbie, is so popular. It goes beyond martial arts. Artistic abilities. It all comes down to striking a mix between skill, toughness, and swagger. Sophie isn't in this league to win over everyone. In addition to winning, she wants to ensure that her teammates can do the same without experiencing harassment throughout every game.
And you got tossed?
And it was 2-on-1. Yeah, I got tossed.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're good. But so in a situation like that, does Caitlyn come up to you after and say like, because the internet whole thing was, look at fucking Sophie sticking up for Caitlyn, like this is dope.
But I was.
No, I know you were.
But in the locker room, I think she was like, finally, you know, like finally someone else. I was like, dude, I got you. Like it's, but I think that kind of had our team come together as a whole. And it's dude, like, no, we gotta have you. Like it was
awesome.
Yeah, no, it really was though. Like I feel like everyone was like, you know, like we do have to protect each other.
And there's little doubt that this will persist. This plot thread will take main stage when the Fever faces the Sun once more. Fans will be keeping an eye out for any indication that Sheldon is attempting to make a point. Additionally, the cameras will be prepared if Sophie answers. Clark's security will be a component of the spoke during the entire game. That's what having an enforcer can do. It alters opponents' mental calculations. Delivering a cheap shot when you believe you won't be challenged is one thing. Another time when you are aware that Sophie Cunningham is just waiting to hold you accountable. Ultimately, Sophie did more than simply reprimand Jacy Sheldon. She communicated with the WNBA as a whole. It's also a message that the Fever probably ought to have communicated months ago, considering how this season has gone. The question now is, was Sophie Cunningham's property the ideal moment? Way to respond, or did it merely add fuel to the flames? To what extent do you adore Sophie? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Turn on all notifications, like, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next video. Click the video on the screen.